So just as we were about to wrap up the episode and the cameras were about to cut, Dylan started dropping a serious story on us, and it's about after his first loss in America. So I'm just going to let him carry on with this because everyone has to hear this story.
Yeah, so as if enough hadn't gone wrong already. Like I said, story of my career, one step forward, two steps back. I got knocked out in America. I'm giving up boxing, and yeah, I was finished with it. And I came home. You can only spend so long in the chair. I'm like, right, I'm going back at it. And I rang Connor Slater. I was like, bro, I need to fight. And he said, right, leave it with me. So he says, got you a fight in Mexico, Tijuana, Mexico. I'm like, yeah, sign me up. So the week before we were supposed to go, my dad and my best friend Stephen, they couldn't go. I can't remember the reason. So I was like, I've got the wind back in my sails now for boxing. I'm going alone. So they thought I was mad, which I probably was looking back now. I say, why don't my mother leave me do that? I flew to Los Angeles 11 hours. I got picked up in an Uber, 4 hours down to the Mexican border, to Tijuana. I spent like 6 hours there trying to cross it. I don't know what was going on. There was some trouble there. Got through into Tijuana, and met this promoter called Gabriel. So this guy picks me up in this pickup truck, and I'm flying around Tijuana with him. I don't know him. And I spent 2 days there making weight on my own. And then he picks me up again and he brings me to the show. So I think I'm going to some arena or whatever, but it was a nightclub. And it was the maddest setup I've ever seen. It was all these guys in wife beater vests. They were smoking fags in the arena, drinking little cans of beer. And I just didn't feel right. The travelling and all was getting to me. I was in this little dressing room. I was sitting on a bucket. I had no coach. I was wrapping my own hands. And I was sweating. And I just knew I wasn't cut out to fight tonight. And I was looking out the window and these guys were killing each other in the ring. And all these fellas smoking fags, screaming, shouting. And out of the blue, a doctor walks in. He says, Dylan Moran. I said, yeah. And he says, your fight is off. It's not happening. So I'm sat there. I'm in Mexico. Like, I'm after flying halfway across the world to get my career back on track. After getting floored in America. I'm sitting on a bucket. And I'm like, man, what else am I supposed to do here? You know, your man Gabriel comes in. He's like, oh, I'm very sorry. Will we go for some food? I'm like, so I'm not doing nothing else. I might as well. I went off for food with him. And yeah, it was just a mad time. I remember sitting in some little Taco Bell place in Tijuana. What a crazy city, especially at night time. Next thing, this guy, he just busts out crying. My fight's after getting cancelled, telling me that like his wife had been killed 3 weeks previous. She'd been shot in the garden. And I'm sitting there and this guy starts pouring his heart out to me crying. And I'm young enough at the time. And I remember thinking like, what am I up to? You know, sitting there, this fella's giving it the big one. I felt sorry for him. It was pretty emotional. And I remember getting back to the hotel room that night and sitting on the end of the bed after going through that experience with him, flying halfway across the world, fight gets cancelled, and just looking out the window on my own thinking, is this where I call it a day? You know, is this where I just say I'm done with boxing? Because I tried it a couple of times before and it didn't. Surely this was a sign, you know, sitting in Mexico on your own. But yeah, that didn't work either. I was back at it when I got home.
If anything, did that experience make you feel more like you wanted to walk away than the actual defeat did?
Yeah, crazy. What more could I do? Every road I went, every door was just closed in my face. Like, you don't hear people trying that much. People don't see that side of it either. So when they see me on Sky Sports or over in Liechtenstein or places like that, that's what I was doing to try and get there. Yeah, crazy times.
There you go. There's a bonus story on the Main Event podcast. Dylan Moran, again, thank you very much.
Yeah,
And
even saying that back to you, I'm like, who left me to go over there? Like,